Please help me to reach 1,000 subscribers. She asked me for one final night with her ex before our wedding, and I agreed. Not because it didn't hurt. Not because I was okay with it. I said yes because I needed to know the truth about who she really was before I handed her my entire life. We'd been engaged for 10 months. In my mind, we were already past uncertainty, past second-guessing, past testing boundaries. We had plans stacked neatly into the future. An apartment waiting for us after the honeymoon, deposits paid, invitations sent. My parents had poured money into the venue. She'd chosen her dress months ago. Everything was set. Or so I thought. Then, 2 weeks before the wedding, she sat me down one evening and made her request. There was no crying. No visible shame. Just an oddly calm, carefully phrased explanation. She told me she needed closure. Something to help her feel completely ready for marriage. At first, I assumed she meant counseling, or maybe a serious conversation about reconnecting before the big day. Instead, she said she needed to spend one night with her ex. One night. No expectations. No future. Just clarity, she said. I stared at her, convinced I'd misunderstood. I asked if this was some kind of joke. It wasn't. She told me she was being honest out of respect, better to ask than to sneak around. And if I truly loved her, I'd understand. Understand what, exactly? That she still wasn't finished with someone else? I didn't say anything at first. I just sat there, trying to comprehend that the woman I was about to marry wanted permission to sleep with a man she claimed was long behind her. A man who had once cheated on her. A man who had supposedly shattered her heart. I asked why she'd bring this up now, why wait until 2 weeks before our vows. She said she didn't want doubts following her into marriage. She wanted to close the door on her past so she could be fully present with me forever. That was her reasoning. Something inside me went numb. Maybe it was anger. Maybe it was clarity. Maybe a part of me had already let go. But I heard myself say, okay, if that's what you need, go ahead. She looked shocked. Really? She asked. I nodded. She leaned in, kissed my cheek like we just reached some loving agreement, and thanked me for being so understanding. That was the last moment she ever saw me. She thought she was going to get closure. What she actually got was disappearance. The next morning, while she was chasing certainty in someone else's bed, I was packing my life into boxes. I canceled everything tied to my name, flights, my suit, hotel rooms for my family. I contacted the venue and told them the wedding was off. When they asked if the bride would confirm, I said she would. Just give her a day. She'd understand soon enough. I didn't argue. I didn't explode. I didn't make dramatic posts or phone calls. I simply vanished. That silence was my response. I blocked her everywhere. Changed my number. Cut off every possible line of contact. Friends told me I was being heartless, that I owed her an explanation, a conversation, some kind of closure of my own. But I didn't owe her anything. Because when someone asks for one last night with their past while you're standing ready to be their future, the choice has already been made. They just want your permission to betray you. I chose not to give that permission. Later, I heard through mutual friends that she'd fallen apart. That when she came home and saw the apartment empty, she thought it had been burglarized. Then reality hit. It wasn't thieves. It was me. Gone. She tried contacting my parents. Sent letters to my workplace. Posted online about how I abandoned her without warning. How she'd only made one mistake. But it wasn't a mistake. It was a decision. A deliberate act that dismissed everything we'd built together. Now she'll never see the wedding photos. Never walk down the aisle in the dress she loved. Never get the goodbye she thinks she deserved. Because the moment she chose to give herself to someone else one last time, she gave me every reason not to become her husband.